I don't understand why she reads from that same book every day. Day after day, she reads, but she makes no progress. Each morning, she sits, opens the book, and it's marked at the same page. Never makes any progress. You'd think she'd realize that every day she reads the same chapters, that every day I get to hear my favorite story. I don't understand. If she's not going to listen, why does she bother to read? Maybe she thinks it's for me, but David and Goliath is the wrong story. If I could just turn the bookmark to the right place, would she hear me? Psalm 88. O Lord, the God of my salvation, I have cried by day and in the night, Lord, the God of my salvation. I have cried out by day and in the night before thee. Let my prayer come before thee. Incline thine ear to my prayer. For my soul has had enough troubles, and my life draws near to Sheol. I am beckoned among those who walk down to the pit. Life rarely goes according to plan. We are constantly bombarded by frustrations, challenges, redirections, and yet life goes on. One of the most difficult challenges someone can face is the loss of a loved one. Sometimes it's quick and unexpected, while others have to face their loved ones slowly passing away before their eyes. This second category causes the most suffering, watching someone you love hooked up to a machine and life support. 2 years ago, I received a text from my dad saying that my grandpa wasn't going to make it through the night. Apparently, he'd been admitted to the hospital earlier that week after suffering a stroke, and it didn't look good. So I drove back home and went with my parents to the hospital, and my grandma and aunt asked me to talk to him. Of course, I didn't know what to say, but words just started coming out. All the while, I wondered if he could hear me, and if he could, I prayed that he would just wake up. Do people hear you when they're comatose? Do they know what's going on in the room? This is Goliath and David by Pat Gabridge, a dramatic intern. Look how she nurtures that empty husk, like serving water to a stone monument, a stone Goliath that sucks all the love from her. She doesn't understand the struggle. She thinks that victory for David means the return of her son. Is it my favorite story or hers? I can never remember. She hasn't spoken to me since I've been here. She tries, but she can't find her own voice. Not a word has passed from her lips to my ear. Instead, she's like a mirror, reflecting the words off the page and sending them into the leaden brain of her child, or what used to be her child. Perhaps there are no words to say what she wants to say. Maybe there's nothing to be said. After all, what do you say to someone who no longer listens? When I was young, I used to think that my dad just wasn't aware that I was too old to play with wooden ducks. I developed quite a collection before I finally realized it's the only thing he can carve. I even started this little game where I would decorate them and give them little backstories. And oftentimes they were heroes, like David, who could chase away the bad guys and the nightmares. He was never one for speech making. I never turned to him for advice, but somehow he always knew when I was in trouble. Just when things seemed to be at their very worst, a duck would arrive in the mail. Who would expect to receive strength from a duck? Does he think that's all it will take this time? After all, this wasn't just a bad dream I was going to wake up from. I am like a man without strength, forsaken among the dead, like the slain who lie in the grave, whom thou dost remember no more, and they are cut off from thy hand. Getting sick is something he can't understand. It's foreign to him, as am I. I can only remember him being sick one time. I was 10 when the first big, red, painful rash appeared on his skin. It soon spread all over his body in painful rashes. I wasn't allowed into his room, not allowed to see him or even speak to him. Somehow the whole concept of illness, of father being sick, was just unacceptable. Unacceptable. It's funny how many things there are in life that we choose to not accept or can't. The end of a relationship, the termination of a career, the loss of a child. I try to understand, but there are days when I just want him to move his chair a little closer. Of course, he can't. He only sees Goliath. Thou hast put me in the lowest pit, in dark places, in the depths. Thy wrath has rested upon me, and thou hast afflicted me with all thy ways. Thou hast removed my acquaintances far from me. Thou hast made me an object of loathing to them. They lost hope a long time ago. I don't know exactly when, but somewhere along the way, their visits transformed from acts of love to acts of obligation, or should I say habit? They're here because they don't know what else to do. I'm here because I can't find a way to leave. I'm held prisoner by a giant fleshy suit of armor, and its bindings are strong. I am shut up and cannot go out. My eye has wasted away because of affliction. I have called upon thee every day, O Lord. I have spread out my hands to thee. To leave, to finally leave, it's not so easy. I would like to take David's sling and slay the enemy, cutting off his head and taking it back to my camp, shouting my victory and leading myself to freedom. I sit for hours on end, contemplating the ways, trying to find the strength for a quick twitch of the finger, a flick of the wrist, enough to yank out a tube. But I am weak. I contemplate the action, but I only present a handful of stones. And the Philistine said to David, "Am I a dog that you should come to me with sticks?" And he cursed David. Sometimes they see a flicker of a smile, but it's just the Philistine laughing at me. He won't laugh forever. There's nothing there, don't you see? The bed is empty. Your son is gone. He was gone a long time ago. Old man, stop carving that stupid duck and listen to me. Hear me. I don't want your strength. It won't help me. Go home, go home, go home. Go home and stretch on the couch and dream your fitful dreams, but do not stay here. Mother, sing no more songs of victory. They only drown out the truth. The truth is, I am gone. Even without hope, the presence of your love is too strong. Let me finish. Hear me. Turn the page, Mother. Come on. That's it. Let's finish the song together. I suffer thy terrors. I am overcome. Thy burning anger has passed over me. Thy terrors have destroyed me. They have surrounded me like water all day long. They have encompassed me altogether. Thou hast removed friend and lover far from me. My acquaintances are in darkness. You're getting up. Finally, you heard. You heard. Thank you, Mother. Father. Goodbye. Goodbye.